So basically, Father Noah did for 120 years it wasn't just a mountain, but it was even on the sea, basically the whole time believing God through absolute faith, love and obedience. So what kind of person was Noah's wife? So basically, it's very interesting because we see a lot of stories we understand Noah's wife a lot, because even though Noah was a very obedient person who went to the mountain and was doing what he believed God had told him, the wife was not following. And what kind of person was she? Was she actually thanking God, thanking Noah? But I don't know. What kind of person was she? Was she? So she was fighting with Noah all the time. She didn't have faith. It wasn't just 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 70 years. It was 120 years. Every day. She was not doing anything else but just fighting with Noah. So basically, this was the two children were seeing this and seeing this relationship of fight, and these two children were Shem and Ham. So what were they seeing? Every day they were seeing father and mother fighting. So Noah, with the absolute faith that God put in him, he was just listening, and for every 40 years he was just doing his work. Every day he was going for the whole world, because he knew that the world would be flawed. And there were just 8 people in Noah's family, and he knew that everyone else would die except the 8 people in his family. And Ham and Sem, so even though she had 2 children, and she was just living a life of being against Noah. What kind of, even if she was doing every day, what kind of wife was it? Should she have done that? She should have been like that. What else should she do normally? She should have repented. She should have actually just believed everything that her husband was doing, because she could realize that she should have realized that that he was especially after the flood. She should have just followed when she understood that, oh, that's true. Here we are, the flood happened. We should have to believe. What do you think? But did she believe? When it finished, after the 40 days after the flood, did she believe Noah? What did she do? But then again, because the kids were so disunited as well, and what did they do when they saw Noah naked? They just followed the mom, and they covered him up. So normally, normally they should have listened to God and just be one with Noah, be one with their father, just like Noah was one with God. it's a very strange thing because it's hard for people, normal people, to understand how Noah felt at this time. Someone tell you, it's very hard if you say, for 120 years, just do this because there will be a flood. It's something that normal human beings will not understand. But if they had just believed and then continued, if they believed and continued, then the children as well would have followed. So then, when after the flood and this situation with Shem and Ham happened, and they basically covered their dad, and then they went back to the position of before the fallen humankind before the flood. So basically, the wife of Noah was acting as fallen Eve, and she had to cooperate, but she didn't. And again, because she was normally fallen Eve, she had to basically create the same. Actually, you can see the chart that happened with Eve and Cain and Adam. She had to educate her sons that way, so that they can be one with Noah and then one with God. But Noah's wife did not even start even at all the beginning of restoration, because she did not at all listen to God's words. So then, in that kind of situation, what do you think happened? The relationship between the mother-son relationship, cooperation failed, and then the Cain, Abel, adopted son, this failed as well. Everything failed. So then, which family was brought up after that? It was the family of Abraham and Sarah. So then, again, Sarah was in the position of Eve. So again, what was she supposed to do? She was supposed to break ties with Satan, believe in God, and then again help Isaac and Ishmael to complete the relationship between themselves, like Cain and Abel relationship, and get to the level of get to the next level. So now, so what do you think? Do you think that Sarah actually succeeded in restoring Eve's position? How do you think she succeeded? Yes. And in which way? Did she succeed? What? I'll give you a hint. So then, basically, in the Bible, every name. Okay, I'll give you a hint. Everyone in the Bible that was on Satan's side, the names did not come up, especially for the ladies. And then, if their name came up, that means they were on God's point. So you see, Noah's wife, the name is not there; it just says wife. So then, now Abraham and Sarah, that's another hint. So again, when your name didn't turn up, so that's a hint. So because Sarah's name coming out, does that mean she did it or she didn't? So yes, she did it. She succeeded. So how did she succeed? If you see, this, he said one part of the Bible. I think the creation. So again, Sarah was someone that believed in God, in absolute faith, absolute love, and absolute obedience. Sorry, that was Abram. But then Sarah was very. Okay, so Sarah and Abram lived in a very important time. And
미인이고 잘생겼는지라 이 사라에 빠지고 말입니다. 빠지고 말아요.
so okay, Sarah showed absolute faith in all what the husband did,
아브라함은
and
자기 아내 사라를
so even
바로 왕에게
Abram was even able to tell Sarah, go to this king.
뭐라고?
And what did he say to the king? He said exactly. He just said, look, that's it, she's my sister.
그리고 그 여동생으로 속여서
So again,
궁중에 들어가서
she hid as a sister, and she went to the king, Abimelech.
하룻밤 자고 그래요.
And then she was there for a night.
질문할게요.
I'll ask you a question.
어느 날 남편이
One day, your husband says,
가는데 옆집
go and sleep in the house of that my neighbor.
남편에게 어떻게 하겠습니까?
What would you say to your husband?
단순히 노입니까?
Is it just no?
화난 표정을
Would you not just have a strange look at his eye and be like, what? Exactly. So exactly, are you crazy?
미친놈아!
In Korean you say 미친놈아, which means crazy guy.
그런데 여러분들 웃었어요 지금?
But you see, you laughed.
웃었죠?
You laughed.
여기 포인트가 있어요.
That's the point.
어떻게 사람은
How could Sarah
자기 남편 아브라함이 시키는 대로
just do as her husband wanted?
원망하지 않고 바로 궁중에
She didn't have any doubt. She just did exactly as the husband wanted.
그리고
And
아브라함은
Abraham,
아내를 누이 동생으로 속여서
Abraham, he loved his wife so much, he just let her go in this way to the king. Is that normal?
왜 하나님은 이 아브라함과 사라 가정에 아브라함과 사라 가정에 대해서 이 성경에
So,
이런 내용을 써놨을까요?
so why do you think that they wrote this in the Bible?
여기에서 중요한 포인트는
Because it's a very important point.
이 사람이
The fact that
자기 남편을 믿고
Sarah not only loved her husband but
자기 남편의
believed and trusted her husband as a God.
자기 남편의 신앙을 믿었지만
She believed in her husband's faith,
그동안은
and not only that, she
여호와 하나님을 믿고 의지했던
she believed and she leaned on her husband as someone who actually completely trusted God and was one with God.
정성들이
Every day she sees him praying and making conditions.
그 인간적인 아내와 남편의
So when it's not just a normal husband and wife relationship, it's a relationship of seeing her husband leaning and being one with God. So she as well leaned and was one with him. So
남편을 믿습니까?
do you believe your husband?
이제 저 이야기 들으면 옆집에 가서 자고 라도 자고 올 용기
So then, do you think it's all right if he tells you actually to just go and sleep with your neighbor? Would you be all right? I mean, in your neighbor's house. That's important.
남편들의 신앙이 중요합니다.
So the faith of the husband is very important.
어떠한 경우 죽음을 무릅쓰고도 자기 남편을 믿을 수 있다.
So basically, you have to be able to completely be able to love and stick to your husband, whatever it is. If you are able to do that, then that means there's a very good relationship between you and God.
하는 순간 하나님이 나타나시죠.
So again, as you can see, when she did this, when she trusted her husband, through God came
그 여인은
to him, to the king. This is a lovely daughter that I love. And it is the wife of Abraham. That's what God told the king. What kind of heart did she have at that time? So of course at that time Sarah had a very strong relationship with God. Wow, this is the person that actually saved me. God is my father. He's right. So again, why do you think Sarah had to go through this? Because she had to break the relationship between Satan, just like Eve had to. So basically, completely breaking up from Satan, which means she had to trust God, and that would break and then become one. So once she trusted God, and then she trusted as well. Abram, just like Eve should have trusted Adam. Then at that point, she was able to succeed. So that's how she came out successful. Do you understand? So then, because Sarah was able to become one with Abraham, she was the first successful woman after Eve. So that was a successful woman after Eve. So then Ismail and Isaac also restored the relationship between Cain and Abel. How did they restore that relationship? Now that I'm saying that, some people ask, is that true? What do you think? How was Isaac? So then again, Isaac and Ismail see how Abraham and Sarah love each other, and they see the way that everything that Abraham and Sarah do, they also do the same. They just obey. One day, God told Abraham. What did he say? He said, "Please." He told Abraham to make some sacrifice. And what kind of sacrifice was it? He said, sacrifice Isaac. And Isaac didn't know that. But then later, he knew. He was surprised. And then they went together. So when they went together, and he didn't have any other thing to sacrifice, then Isaac knew that Abraham will sacrifice him for God. But how was Isaac at that time? He had completely, absolute faith, love, and obedience to his dad. Every day, he could see his father just pray. He could see his mother unite and have as well, and also pray. So seeing that kind of situation, he sees his mom and dad always in prayerful heart. Then of course, Isaac could not even doubt. What did he say? He said, what would he have said when his dad said, "That's you"? He didn't say anything. He said, "You are the one that gave me life as well. So if you take my life, you are also the person to take my life. What kind of do I have any way I can say anything about it? I have nothing to say about it. That's fine. So are you following your dad and mom this way?" So if at this time, if your dad is ready to bring you somewhere to kill you, would you be alright? So mom and dad, if they loved each other like human beings, then you would not be able to. But if they loved each other and were very close, like to each other, and you saw them be one with God, then you would. Do you understand?
그래서 우리 축구 가정들의 모델이 뭐냐?
So what kind of model should they be? What kind of model should we as blessed families be? We should be like Abraham and Sarah. So if a husband can be like Abraham, completely love God and completely be one with God, and then your wife can be 100% together with Abraham, then and be completely one with just like Sarah was with Abraham, 100% completely in faith. When they create a kind of relationship, then the wife as well is able to give herself for him or just obey him at any point. Then the children would be in a position to will also be able to just follow. That's what happened in Abraham and Sarah's family. So Isaac, Sarah helped the mother-son cooperation, and he also made the Cain Abel. In that way, Isaac and Ishmael was able to restore Cain and Abel relationship. I'm going to ask you another question. Sorry. So before Jesus went to the cross, there was no division between Muslims and Christians. Because there was because the Cain and Abel relationship was restored, the elder son relationship. But when Jesus went on the cross, before Jesus went to the cross, it was restored. Why did Ishmael's wife come on? Okay, I'm going to ask you now why. What continued with Ishmael's wife? So then we have to look at the next. So because there was Sarah, even though Sarah showed absolute faith, and Isaac and Ishmael as well were able to restore this relationship. What happened next in between Isaac and Rebecca? They became one. Sarah and thanks to Abraham's family, again, they were able to restore Eve's relationship. Eve was able to restore the relationship, and the 3 stages were done. And so, True Father said, and that kind of in that kind of relationship, then God and through the Messiah could have come. So then Rebecca was supposed to also restore Eve. Do you think she did? Did she? Why? How? Because the name comes up. Yes, Rebecca succeeded. How did she succeed? So Rebecca had two sons. Who was this? Jacob and Esau. So in the creation 25, in the first part of the Bible, James 25, 1 to 11
부부관계가 너무 좋았습니다. 왜 그렇습니까?
comes up.
이 이삭은 아브라함으로
So again, within Isaac and Rebecca, there was a very good relationship. How did that happen? Because again, Isaac followed the way Abraham. He got good example from his parents, and then how did that happen for Rebecca? Rebecca again, she learned from Sarah, her mother-in-law. So we can say that this family again was successful because they followed their parents and their mother-in-law. So you know the story of Jacob and Esau, yeah?
그렇죠? 그래서 야곱강에서
So again,
그 예수와 야곱이
so Jacob and Esau again succeeded in elder son relationship, restoring the rights of the elder son. Again, how did that happen? We know the story of
야곱과 리브가가 하나 되어서
how Rebecca, how Jacob trusted Rebecca and actually cheated Esau.
리브가도 똑같이
Again,
이때 당시는
at that time,
그 애굽 땅의 왕이
the country's king
아비멜렉이었어요.
was Abimelech of the Philistine. And again, when Abimelech saw Rebecca,
이 이삭이 리브가를 누이 동생으로
he also wanted her. And what did Isaac do? He also let Rebecca go to to the king. The same story, just like in Abraham and Sarah's story.
승리에 나오게 됩니다.
So again, at that time, Rebecca comes out successful.
그래서 이백째
So that's the second generation.
하나님과의 관계를 끊고
So again, the second generation, Rebecca, wins and was successful to restore Eve and help restore the mother-son cooperation as well as the elder son rights. And then True Father says, if three succeed, then the king, the Messiah, can come down. So then there we are, the third generation, which is Judah and Tamar. So what is the relationship between Judah and Tamar?
유다와 다말은
Judah and Tamar
아버지와 딸의 관계,
were
시아버지와
normally they were first of all the relationship of father and daughter, and then father-in-law and daughter. Like I told you in the very beginning, God and Eve. God was in the relationship. God and Eve were in the relationship of father-in-law, and then later they have to be in the position of husband and wife. So again, Tamar is the number one winner of success. She was very successful because she helped restore all those three positions of Eve. She completed the restoration of Eve. So basically, Judah was normally the father-in-law. But as we know the whole story, then Tamar succeeded. Do you know the story of it in the Bible? So Judah had 3 children. What were the 3 children? El, Onan, Selan. These were the 3 kids he had. So he had 3 children. So El married Tamar, the first son. But
성격 자체가 아주 사나운 사람이었다고 성경에는 쓰여져 있습니다.
So El was
다말과 결혼을 했는데
was the first one. So in the Bible, the first one got to marry the first, and so he married Tamar. But unfortunately, he could not give birth to any children, and he died after 7 months.
이스라엘 민족은 이때
So at that time in Israel, there was a culture if you got married into a family, you cannot have your seat in another family. So basically that means she had to get the seats from that family because she was married into that family. I mean, it's not happening now. So in Israel, so basically you can see that Israel was a very providential country. So again, Tamar got married to El in that family, so she had to have the seed, her child, in that family. Do you know about the story? How is it made? How is Israel made? I'll ask you a question. How was Israel made? So if a lady from Israel married someone from someone else, can someone from Israel marry an overseas person? Yes, they can. If a lady from Israel marries a foreigner, then that's all right. But then if a man marries a lady from for somewhere else, all right. You cannot enter in the lineage if you marry outside as a man. So Eve's restoration. So as you can see, it was a very providential country for the restoration of Eve. So again, the lady can marry someone from outside, that's all right. But then, if you, as a husband, as a man born in Israel, marry for someone from outside, then you're not part of the lineage anymore of Israel. I never knew that before I went to Israel. So the first child, Eli, died. So that means Tamar could basically could not go in another country, he could not marry someone else. So then what did she have to do? She had to marry someone again from the same family. So there was a second son, Onah. So again, Onah he had no choice but to marry Tamar because that was the situation at the time. But again, then Onah again was like, oh my God, this Tamar is very older than me, and I'm young, and he's my brother's wife. So then every time when he was in relationship with Tamar, he would just spill his... so he would not let the seed go into Tamar. He would basically remove his penis for the thing to fall out. And then at that time when he died, he just died on the spot. So again, Sarah, that was a big thing. Why do you think he died? Because God had prepared the whole thing, and then there was a success in the first family and success in the second family, and then now again there was a third family that was about to just succeed, and then which was Judah's family. And Tamar knew all this because she knew that she had to have a seed from that family in order to restore Eve's position. She just had to find a way. So again, there was a third person, the child. So the third son. So again, Judah was quite reluctant to give. Judah was quite reluctant to give his last child to Tamar, but he had to because obviously they need kids. They need to have the generation to continue.
성장할 때까지 기다려라라고 합니다.
But then again, he told Tamar that okay, wait until he grows into an age where he can have a relationship. He can, be grown up.
그리고 성경에 보면
But if you look in the Bible,
다말하고 결혼할 것을 알고
but Elena knew that he was going to, in the future, marry Tamar. So he wasn't happy with that. So he ran away. And when he ran away, he died.
결국은 이 다말은 유다의 자식 속에서
So again, Tamar was in this very sad position where she had to have the seed of that family. So she understood that. So what did she do? She had to change herself into a prostitute.
보내가지고 유다와
Because the only person that was left in that family was Judah, her father-in-law. So she knows that she has to receive the seed from that family, and she has to follow restore. And she went into a level where she was ready to die for that. So she hid herself as a prostitute and had a relationship with Judah. And who came out of this relationship? Perez and Sarah.
해와 복귀를 승리했지만
So Tamar succeeded in restoring Eve completely. But then Perez and Sarah was supposed to also restore the elder sonship relationship. What happened? What happened? The first child? So how do we know about this? The first child was Zerah. So he put his hand out, or his foot, and Tamar knew about this. She knew she had to restore this. So what they did is they put something. He put his hand out and then he removed and he put it back in. So they tied something on it, and then the second one came out. So again, this relationship was restored in the womb. So Cain and Abel relationship was restored completely, and the second son came out first. So that was a success.
왜 이 태주에서 복귀를 했을까요?
So why would there have been a restoration in the womb?
이 야곱과 에서는
Because Jacob,
40살 때 야곱강에서 장자꾼 복귀를 했습니다.
because Jacob and Esau for 40 years,
또 40살 때 장자꾼 복귀를 했어요.
for 40 years did the
그러나 이 베레스와 세라는
restoration. And Perez and Sarah
복귀가 됩니다.
could just do it in the womb.
왜 태주에서 복귀가 돼야 될까요?
Why do you think it had to be redone in the womb?
태어나기 이전의 상태에서
Because it had to be in the position of, we needed the position of
장자꾼 복귀
restoring Adam and Eve in the position of before they were born into this world. So it was a restoration that was happening before they come out. So then they were back to the normal Adam and Eve before the fall.
관계가 장자꾼 복귀가 이루어지고 다말과
So in that situation, Perez and Zerah not only were like Adam and Eve before the fall, but they also restored at the same time Cain and Abel relationship, and in that way, Jesus could come, the Messiah could come.
저기 멀리서 오신 분들이 좋은 분 있어요.
Is that a good person from overseas? I don't know.
비슷할 겁니다.
Don't know what this.
그래서 유다와 다말 가정에서 해와 복귀, 장자꾼 복귀 모자육조를 승리하게 된 것이죠.
So again,
기반 위에
in this family of Judah and Tamar, Adam, Eve relationship, mother-son relationship, and elder sonship relationship was restored. And who came after this? In this lineage was Sarah, Zachariah, and Mary. Sorry. Who is the father of Jesus?
예수님의 아버지가 될 수 있을까?
How could he become the father of Jesus?
당신의 이장입니다. 그때 통쾌해요.
네.
얘기하는 거.
Jesus.
그러니까 사가랴가 예수님의 아버지라고 하는 증거를 대보세요.
Just give me a proof that Zachariah is
아버님이
father of God.
말씀하지 말고 객관적으로 설명해 보세요.
Okay, don't tell me from the divine principle. Just tell me 100% what you think. Why Zachariah is the father of Jesus?
그러니까 마리아와 사가랴가 예수님의 아버지라고 하는 증거가 뭐냐?
So what's the proof actually that Zachariah is the family? Give me 100%.
너무 막연합니다.
It's not very clear. I'll tell you.
아버님이 아주 중요합니다. 아버님 말씀이 왜 중요하냐?
Guys, true father's speech is very important. Why do you think it's very important? Because in true father's words, it explains clearly what kind of relationship and how actually they could become, or how it did happen.
여러분, 저도 기독교 신학을 했지만
I'm also a theologist. I've studied Christian theology.
다마를 기독교 신학에서는 뭐라고 생각하는 줄 아십니까?
But do you know what they talk about Tamar in the theology, in Christian theology?
왜 다말 같은 여인이 성서에 기록됐느냐라고 신학생들이 질문할 때 교수들은 뭐라고 말하느냐?
When I ask them about Tamar,
성서의 표본이기 때문에 그렇다라고 얘기해요.
when I ask them about Tamar and why they had to be with Judah, then they don't know.
다말 없이는 예수님이 올 수 없고 사가랴가
They don't realize that without this situation of Tamar, then Jesus would not have been born, Zachariah's family would not have come about, and nothing would have come about.
여러분 진짜 이해하기 힘든 거예요.
I'm really wondering if you're understanding.
정확히 않으니까. 자, 이 사가랴가
So Zachariah,
왜 예수님의 아버지가 될 수 있는 것은 두 가지 빨리 좀
I'll tell you clearly why, in two reasons why he could become Jesus' father. They have the answer.
반대 경우의 입장에서 보았을 때 그렇습니다.
First,
반대 경우의 평강복귀 법칙에 의해서 보았을 때 그렇습니다.
so first I'm looking at it at the opposite.
자, 이 해와의 입장에서
Let's look at it the
아담입니다.
opposite way. For example, Mary.
사가랴가 선 것이 아담입니다.
Mary was in the position of Eve. Zachariah was in the position of Adam.
자, 근데 이 마리아는
So Mary
이 해와의 입장인데
was in the position of Eve.
이 해와가 타락했을 때의 과정을 보면
So if we look how Eve fell,
해와 아담이 약혼 관계에 있을 때
it was when Eve and Adam were in
아담과
the fiancé
빼앗아다가
position, but then Satan took Eve.
반대 경우는 어떻게 됩니까?
So what would have been the opposite of that?
이 해와의 입장
Eve,
마리아가
which is Maria, which is in position of Eve.
약혼 관계에 있을 때
Again, at that time, it would be Satan.
빼앗아다가
Joseph would be in the position of Satan, which means they were.
사가랴에게 주어야 되는 것입니다.
So the opposite is basically Mary and Joseph as a fiance, and then now coming back in Zachariah as Adam. Do you understand?
이해되셨어요? 이론적으로 받아들이는 감동이 없어. 얼마나 중요한 내용인지.
It's a very important.
네. 자, 그래서 해와는
It's a very important
아담과 해와가
part, but you guys don't really give me any. I don't feel I'm teaching.
사다가 사탄 루시퍼가 가져갔어.
So again, what happened is that Mary was married to Joseph, and then not married, fiancé. But then Mary in the position of Eve, and Joseph in the position of Satan, who were together as fiancé.
해와의 자리인 마리아를 빼앗아다가 본연의 아담
So instead of her having relationship with Joseph, she went and had relationship with Zachariah, which was in the position of Adam, which means the original one. Yeah? So that's the first reason why Zachary is the husband of, not the husband, the father of Jesus.
그럼 다음 시간에 내가 얘기해 드릴게요. 내 이름이니까. 자, 질문할 분들은 다음 시간에 메모를 해가지고
So please, if you have any questions, please, it will be next session.
질문하면 이미 다 나올 내용을 또
So because I believe that there will be some answers as you listen now.
두 번째 조건입니다.
So the second reason why Zachary is the father of Jesus,
성경에 보면
if you look in the Bible,
약혼하고 나서 요셉과
after Mary was fiancée with Joseph, for
집에 가 있었죠.
more than a few months, she went to Zachary's house. Yeah,
몇 개월?
for how many months? 3 months.
근데 사가랴 집에 갔을 때
And when she went to Zachary's house,
하고 있었을까요? 결혼 안 하고 있었을까요?
was she married or not? Well, was Zachary married or not?
결혼하고 있었습니다.
He was married.
그 와이프는 누구죠?
Who was his wife? Elizabeth. Yeah.
엘리사벳은 임신하고 있었을까요? 안 하고
Was Elizabeth pregnant or not?
예, 임신하고 있었습니다.
Yes, she was pregnant. Who was it?
예, 존파.
Yes, it was John the Baptist.
세리와
So that's it.
아버님 말씀에 의하면
If you look into Father's words,
엘리사벳은 하나님의 계시를 받게 됩니다.
Elizabeth had a revelation.
계시를 받았기 때문에
Because she had a revelation, she let her little sister Maria be with her husband, Zachariah.
그래서 자기 남편에게
So when
마리아를 주게 됩니다.
so she gave Mary to Zachariah.
마리아와 사가랴가 관계를 맺고
So then again, Mary and Zachary had a relationship, and then Mary was pregnant with who?
지저스 크라이스트 예수님.
With Jesus, yeah.
예수님과 세례 요한은 어떤 관계죠?
So what's the relationship between Jesus and John the Baptist?
아버지가 같은 어머니가 다른 이웃 형제.
So again, as well, they were like brothers and sisters because, yeah, they were brothers and sisters because they had the same father.
그래서 세례 요한과 예수님은 뭘 해야 되죠?
So what did John the Baptist and Jesus have to do?
장자권 묻게 되냐?
They had to restore the elder sonship relationship.
마리아와 엘리사벳이 하나 돼서 무엇을 이루어야 되죠?
So what did Mary and Elizabeth had to restore?
예수님과 보좌 족적을 승리해야 돼요.
Sorry, what did Mary and Jesus had to restore? They had to do the mother-son cooperation.
어떠세요?
Yeah, do you understand?
그래서 마리아는
So Mary, in the position of Eve,
요셉과 관계를 끊고
she actually stopped her relationship with Satan, which is Joseph, and then she had a relationship with Adam, with Zachary, which is Adam, and she succeeded in having Jesus.
아벨과 가인의 입장
So then again, these two, Abel and Cain, was Jesus and John the Baptist. Yes?
터치해주세요.
Please move the slide.
세례 요한과 예수님이 장자권 먹기를 할 수 있도록 했고
So that made it possible that Jesus and John the Baptist were born.
해와 먹기는 마리아가 승리했습니다.
So Mary succeeded in restoring Eve.
그러면 마리아는
But
장자권 먹기를 승리했을까요?
but did she succeed in the mother-son cooperation? Did she study? Did she study in the mother-son relationship with Jesus and the elder sonship relationship between Jesus and John the Baptist?
모자 족적했을까요?
Yeah? Did she do? No. She failed. She failed on both. The only thing that she restored was the restoring Eve position.
그러면
So,
마리아는 장자권 먹기 모자 족적을 실패했을까요?
so why did she actually fail the mother-son cooperation and helping Jesus and John the Baptist restore the elder sonship right? If you look in through Father's words, he explains,
원래 이 말이
Maria and
관계를 맺고
Zachary.
임신하는데 마리아는 만족했어요.
So normally, Mary just had to have a relationship with Zachary, and that's it. For after Jesus was born.
원인은
And after that, she had to just serve Elizabeth.
세리모니를 임신하고 나서 남편과 부부 생활
But then,
아주 오래됐어요.
after Mary came in the relationship, Elizabeth didn't really have any more relationship with
사가와 관계를 맺으면서 젊은 여인
Zachariah.